I just want to give you a real representation of what I looked like when I was researching this. I was like, type, type, type. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean the case was closed? Like, to this day, this case remains one of the craziest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Okay, so in 1959, in the deep Ural Mountains of Russia, 9 experienced hikers led by a 23-year-old named Igor Dyatlov all set out on what was supposed to be a challenging but possible 190-mile hike. They never came back. The mountains are in the northern part of the Soviet Union, and the group wanted to complete this specific hike in order to get their grade 3 hiking certification, which was the highest level available at that time. They started the hike on January 25th, and they were planning on returning home on or before February 12th, so they were estimating that the hike was going to take them 16 to 18 days to complete. And again, these people were experienced, equipped, they were confident, and they were excited. They head off, they eventually reach a mountain pass. They decided to stop and set up camp for the night before waking up the next morning, crossing the mountain pass, and then setting up camp on the opposite side of the mountain for the next night. So they wake up the next morning, they start to get moving through the pass, but then the weather starts to get really bad and it's only getting worse. It's a really bad snowstorm with heavy winds, and it's decreasing their visibility, and they lose their direction, and now they have completely gone off of their path. They realize they're gonna have to wait it out, but instead of going back to a safe area, for some reason, even though they're experienced and they should know better, instead of going back to the area where they would be sheltered from the weather, the group decides to set up camp on the slope of the mountain, one of the most dangerous areas you could be. The following day, they're supposed to be meeting another group of people at some sort of checkpoint, but they don't show up, and the people overseeing this entire hike are made aware of it. However, it's a group of 9 people, all of which are experienced and should be knowledgeable enough to know how to survive the weather conditions that were on these mountains. So it's not a huge concern right off the bat, but then 3 weeks pass and there's no sign whatsoever of this group, so a search party is sent out. The army, helicopters, trained rescuers, they all go out to search the mountains. And sooner than later, they run into the tent of where the group had last been, on the slope of that mountain, and they think it's really strange because setting up camp there was so risky for so many reasons. The wind could have blown them right off, snow could have fallen on top of their tent, so many things, and they're surprised to see that that is where the group had decided to stay. But that was not the most concerning part. They walk up to the tent, the hikers are not there, but inside there are neatly folded stacks of their clothing. The tent itself was cut open from the inside, their belongings were left behind as well as their shoes, meaning that the hikers had fled into the freezing cold in freezing temperatures, like below 50 degrees freezing weather, half dressed, barefoot, either wearing no shoes at all or only one. And then they see footprints by the tent leading down to some trees, and by the way that the tent was cut open, they were thinking, oh, it looks like they fled in some sort of panic, they must have left quickly. But by the way their footprints were placed, that suggested that they were walking calmly, not running, not speed walking, just walking slowly. They follow the footsteps down to the forest area until they get to some trees, and there they find 2 bodies. As they're approaching the trees, they see a flat area that had remains of a fire, like someone started